Hey, what's up guys, Ben here and welcome back to the OnlyAccies YouTube channel. It is the day after the night before Hamilton have lost away to Celtic Park, and it was two 90th minute goals that ended up deciding the match. Manny Sogenpo scored in the 90th minute, a long throw in, ball blew in the box and he reacted quickest. It was one each in the 90th minute. Hamilton fans were leaving the ground thinking we have pulled off a brilliant result away to Celtic Park, the current champions. We're desperately fighting for points and we've managed to get one in the 90th minute. And not even a minute later, in the 92nd minute, Scott Brown shoves his way into the box and manages to place it into the bottom right hand corner and subject Hamilton to another defeat. It was heartbreaking, man. The notification came up on my phone. I tried to get a stream for it, I couldn't. Notification came up on my phone. I thought, 90th minute, this is incredible. I started celebrating like mad. I ran into my dad's room. My dad's a big Celtic fan. You know, losing my mind. And then he starts screaming 20 seconds later, and it's 2-1. Absolutely heartbreaking. And I've spoke to fans who were there last night, who made the trip, who paid the money to go, and they're coming out absolutely heartbroken. Marcus on Twitter, the Hamilton media guy, he's came out and said he was celebrating in the press box. To then be subject to defeat is heartbreaking. We're all really struggling after what happened last night. But listen to Brian Rice's press conference this morning after what happened. He seems very optimistic. From what I can hear and from the highlights I've seen, the performance wasn't actually terrible. Yes, Celtic had plenty of chances, they always do, but so did we. We had a chance here or there, and it blows my mind how we can do really well against teams like Rangers and Celtic. Yes, we lost, but our performance was so much better. But then we go away to Livingston and we have a stalemate now, and we are terrible in that game. I don't understand it, but anyway, that's by the by. Brian Rice had plenty of praise for his players. I had Scott Martin, who did the interview after the game. Both of them said the performance was great and they were just really unlucky. There's a big rumour going around that, first of all, Sam Stubbs had a header cleared off the line, and there's a rumour going around that it has actually passed the line and it should have counted as a goal, although from all the replays and videos I've seen, nothing's clear, nothing shows it without a doubt over the line, and nothing shows it without a doubt it was a good save by Forster, so I can't really comment on that. Second of all, there's a rumour that it was a foul building up to Scott Brown's goal. Apparently Lee Griffiths shoves Sam Stubbs to the ground, which should have been called up. However, like Brian Rice said, we're not here to comment on the referees. However, I am. I've seen the clip. It is a foul. And the goal should have been not disallowed. The goal shouldn't have happened. It should have been pulled up for a foul. It should have been an Accies free kick. And I think if we'd have got that free kick, we'd have taken ages to take it and would have ended one each. It's a poor refereeing decision. And listen, it's going to be years and years before we get VAR or anything like that in the Scottish division, so I'm not even going to comment on bringing that in. But it's one of those things that referees should notice, and that ultimately has cost us a point. Let's look forward to the weekend at home to St Mirren. Now this is a simple must-win game. There is nothing else that can be said other than it's a must-win. St Mirren currently sit in 12th. They are bottom of the table but only a point behind us. We need to win this game without a shadow, without. Livingston was a must-win game and we left with the point. This is one of those games where if we don't win, we are in serious trouble. I know it's not even Christmas yet, but we know Hamilton are going to finish near that bottom half of the table, and we need to pick up points with the teams around us. We really do. We've had some good wins and picked up some good points. You know, Kelly at the start of the season, Hearts away to Tynecastle, things like that. The point away at Livingston, ultimately a terrible performance, but not a bad point to pick up. St Mirren's one of the ones where if we don't win, serious issues. I'm going to go into my predicted lineup, or my preferred lineup for the game. In goal, I'm going with Luke Southwood. Three I should say now, really good games. I watched the highlights obviously against Rangers. I was there against Livingston and he pulled off a fantastic save. It's one of those ones where you wish, you're glad VAR or something wasn't there, because that's one of the ones that would have put you on the edge of your seat where the ball crossed the line. It was a Livingston free kick. It was deflected off the post and it looked as if it was behind him. He's clawed it away from behind him. Let's hope, like, it doesn't matter now, but if VAR was there, you'd have been on the edge of your seat wondering whether that had actually crossed the line or not. Other than that, he's looked pretty solid. From what I hear, his distribution isn't terrible and he's made one or two good saves. At Livingston, he came out, collected crosses, punched them away. He controlled his box, something we've been very critical of Owain Fon Williams, and from what I can see, none of the goals that he's conceded against Rangers or against Celtic have been his fault. So Luke Southwood in goal. Up next I would go Aaron McGowan and Scott McMahon as our two wing backs. They're the stand-ins, they're the first choice in the team. Both been solid this season. Aaron McGowan maybe not as influential as he was last season in terms of going forward, but definitely still solid in defence, the same as Scott McMahon. Two centre backs. This is an interesting one. Brian Easton and Sam Stubbs would be my two choices. However, Brian Easton has kind of been known not to be able to play midweek and at the weekend. I think he's played obviously against Celtic. I would not be surprised if it was Sam Stubbs and Jamie Hamilton again. Now obviously I would prefer Brian Easton. His performance against Livingston was unreal. His performance last night I've heard was really good as well. I would love him to start, however I can suspect it being Jamie Hamilton. Next up in the midfield I would have Gogic as our sitting midfielder. Our player of the season, I think, without a shadow, without him and Lewis Smith. I think Gogic has been fantastic, commanding that midfield. Something we have really lacked this season as a strong midfield. But he's the one in the middle that sticks there. For me, along with Sam Stubbs and Brian Easton, he's the first name on the team sheet. Next up, I would have Scott Martin, also in the middle. A player I've heard did really well against Celtic, and when he was injured at the start of the season, somebody we missed in that midfield. A real fighter, a real dog who's going to go there and do the gritty work, do the nasty work, take the bookings. I think we've missed him at the start of the season, so Scott Martin starts there. Over the two wings, I would have Lewis Smith and Mikael Miller. Lewis Smith, as I just said, one of our players of the season, if not the player of the season, already got 4 goals, more than Ryan Kent currently at Rangers. Really skillful, really tricky, great guy as well. Spoke to him, lovely man, and somebody that I'm so desperate to see how he goes on in the next few years and how he develops his career. Mikael Miller started to pick up his form a lot recently, had a really tough pre-season game. I went to every pre-season game and he was bad. He was bad. He was a bad pre-season, but he's came in, he got his goal against St Johnstone, and from then he's kicked on and been really good. I'm interested to see how well he does. Up top, I would have, this is an interesting one, Steve Davies would be my starter. He's so good. The way he takes the ball in and lays it off, he's a very clever player, very tricky player, despite his size. He's a finisher as well. Brian Rice said in one of his post-match interviews, he's the best finisher at the club, and I think fans can see that when he gets a chance, he gets on target, he snaps that shot away. He starts up top. For me, he goes up top with George Oakley. I think when he's playing up top with George Oakley, he does better than he does with Marius Ogumpo. Now Marius is a brute. You throw him up there and throw balls at him and kind of hope something lands. That was the case against Celtic last night. As a long throw in, it bobbled to him, he's held off his man and managed to turn and get a shot off. Good goal when you look at it. In fact, he's holding off, I think it was Christopher Ayer. In fact, he's holding off Christopher Ayer, gets it under control, turns and finishes. It's a good goal. But Oakley, I think, is a poacher. Oakley is the one who, I think, if given a chance, I think 9 times out of 10 he finishes it. It's just getting those chances that's the issue for Hamilton right now. We're not a great creative side. I think we're missing Blair Alston in the middle, who's currently out injured. I hope he comes back soon. There's not been any update on Blair Alston's injury, by the way. I need to ask the club about that. But I think he starts up top. Steve Davies starts up top with George Oakley. That's probably going to be our best starting lineup. What do I predict happening? I think Hamilton will win. I am confident we will win. I hope that we win so desperately. We need these 3 points. I am going to say it will be, they're so good defensively, it's the only thing. I'm going to say 1-0. I think we'll keep a clean sheet. I'm going to say 1-0 Hamilton at home. That's my prediction. I hope to God I'm right. Like I said, we desperately need these 3 points, and if we don't get them, like I said, we're in serious trouble this season. There's been a lot of criticism over Brian Rice, his tactics, his choices, his substitutions, and rightly so. A lot of mistakes have been made recently. This is one of the games where he can't get it wrong. We can't have mistakes in the lineup. We can't have players who don't deserve to be playing in the squad that's happened already this season. I'm not going to lie, I'm actually surprised that we didn't rest more. Everyone's talking about Celtic resting players because they've got the cup final against Rangers on Sunday. I'm surprised we didn't rest more players, given that we have such a big game at the weekend. David Moyo started, so that gave people like Steve Davies, who's got a hamstring injury at the moment, a rest. I can see why he kept a mostly strong starting 11, because if we went in and get battered 6-0, then their confidence would be rock bottom for the weekend. So we needed a decent result, and I think given the result and given the performance, we can be proud. I think they can go in there full of confidence. They can go and get something if they perform as they did, with the same heart, the same passion, the same intensity. Press high, press the ball. St Mirren are not known for being a great passing team. I think if we can get them to have it on the ground and put them under pressure, they'll struggle and mistakes will happen. Teams do it to us. Under Alec Neil, we were one of the best passers in the league. I don't care what you say. Our actual play was fantastic. Our grittiness and our dirtiness was brilliant. And we lost that under Martin Canning. We've lost that identity of being a nice passing team. I'm not saying we were Barcelona, but we were definitely better on the ground than we were in the 8 at that time. And I think Brian Rice has tried to bring that back, especially last season. A lot of our play was actually really nice, and there's been moments of it this season, but we've been subject to hoofball for so long under Martin Canning, and it's came back at Livingston. That's all we did was hoofball. But I think if we can get it on the ground, we can pass around St Mirren. I think we've got better technical players. I'm interested to see whether Tony Andrews starts. He started when we went away to St Mirren. It was 0-0. He had no influence in the game whatsoever. He didn't have a great game. I heard he missed a penalty, a 90th minute penalty the other night. I think it was at Aberdeen. He's not having a great time of it at the moment. So let's hope he doesn't come back and have a sudden masterclass and rip us to shreds. However, I don't think we will. It's a game, like I said, there's not really much else I can say other than it's a must-win game. Simple as that. If we don't win, we're in serious trouble. Brian Rice needs to pick up these 3 points, and so do we, in order to have any kind of safety in the league. That's my match preview and the predicted team lineup. If you liked what we do here, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss some OnlyAccies content. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. We've just overpassed 200 subscribers, so thank you very much. If you like what we do here and want to see it every single day, we've got our Twitter and Instagram all linked in the description. We post there pretty much all the time with news, reactions to what's happening, some interesting stories, and you can also follow me, which I will also leave linked in the description, where I have my own personal Twitter. Go ahead, leave in the comment section or tweet us your predicted lineup and what you think is going to happen against St Mirren on Saturday. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon.